I woke up at like 8. I
Uh,
just I feel like I'm dead.
I went with a crisp 5:30.
Oh god. Only I went to bed till like 3.
I went to bed at like 11:30. Where's this stupid YouTube tweet? I'm sure everybody can hear me now, just complaining on the live stream is about to start screen, but the YouTube tweet has just been crazy slow. The Periscope one comes out pretty snappy. Whatever. And we're live. What's going on, everybody? It's Monday, October 22nd. First Monday slate of the year. Sneaky Tuesday.
I feel like that was like the perfect intro to a Monday.
It kind of was. I have an odd amount of energy today. I don't know why. I guess because I'm not hungover. So, what up on that one?
That'll do it. that makes one of us.
6, 7, 8, 9 game slate today.
Yep.
Thanks to the little brawl at the end of the Houston and Lakers game, we're gonna have some value in LA for the late night hammer, which is always lovely. Plus a Warriors Suns game, so that should be fun. Adam, how was your weekend?
It was good. I didn't put much time into football, which always makes it enjoyable, and then basketball went really well. So I had a good one. What about you?
It was really good. House to myself Saturday, so I got a lot done from a NBA perspective, and then yesterday was just kind of lay around and watch a little bit of NBA or NFL, and I didn't play any NBA. It was nice to take a day off of that already. Yeah, we're here. All right, there's the YouTube tweet now. Good God, that took forever. Retweet that bad boy. Let's get to work. So we got a 9-gamer. And we're just going to chip through it game by game. And the first game up is Boston and Orlando. 2 games don't have a line yet. So I made up the line for Chicago, Dallas, and San Antonio and LA. So caveat for that. Boston and Orlando. Boston 112 implied total. Orlando 100. The 12-point line for Boston. Every single team's projected total today is over 100. The NBA playing quite prompt on a day-to-day basis. Just pace is up like 3.5% higher than what my estimates were for the season. Jesus.
Okay. Memphis, Utah, 219 total. I didn't think I would ever see that.
No, that would have been like 189 last year.
Right.
So yeah, Celtics and Magic. This is a game for sure.
It is a game.
Jonathan Simmons should be back, just in case anybody's really worried about the Magic rotation. I have a hard time liking much of anything in this game. Boston's too deep, and the Magic aren't good enough. And being able to figure out the game script here is sort of key. Is anybody standing out for you on either of these teams?
Not really. Kyrie's price tag is still really appealing at 7,000, but he's so far at least playing alongside Hayward, and it's obviously a small sample size since we got 1 minute of it last year, but he has been deferring quite a bit, and that's not to say he doesn't have upside at $7,000, but it's not as good a spot whenever Hayward plays, and he's back today. So that's obviously concerning. Vucevic, his price went back up a little bit. I do think that one key takeaway from Orlando's last game was that Vucevic stayed on the floor even against Embiid in the fourth quarter. Going into that game, I was really concerned that Mo Bamba was going to take minutes from him for defensive reasons. Obviously, Vucevic was playing insanely well, but it's good to know at least that he does still have that kind of ceiling where he can go out there and play 35 to 37 minutes in certain spots. So the upside's there, but not anything that I'm going to be prioritizing, I don't think.
Yeah, the Kyrie price, I mean, pricing in general, I guess, on DK has been sort of weird, but...
The mid-range has been soft. Value's been, outside of, value that opens up late, value guys have been priced up a little bit. And the stars have been expensive enough. It's made it really interesting because everyone naturally forces stars and scrubs, I think. That's obviously become the go-to strategy. But with how DK pricing's been to start the season, I've found in a lot of spots going more balanced and loading up on those mid-range guys that have 50-point upside has been a good way to go.
That makes perfect sense to me. I have a hard time ever rostering anybody on Boston unless there's an injury or somebody out or something like that. Just The whole damn team can play 25 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. And the minutes fluctuate. I mean, Jason Tatum, like obviously he has monster upside. We've seen a couple of 37-minute games out of him, but then he also, when they're fully healthy, can play like 31, and no one would really even miss him. Even though, not that he's not good, obviously, but it's just they have so many capable bodies. And then with his price tag getting up there, it's really tough to prioritize anything.
Yeah, Tatum 7,500 on DK, only 7,000 on FanDuel. That's 7,500 on DraftKings. This is almost unplayable.
7,000 on FanDuel, depending on the rest of the position, could be nice.
Yeah. To be $500 more expensive on DraftKings, that is super duper backwards.
Yeah.
I mean, Terry Rozier, how do you, I don't know what to do with him.
There have to be better plays on a 9-game slate.
You would think.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm projecting him for like 24 to 26 minutes.
Yeah, I have him in for 26 minutes, 24 FanDuel points, just north of 24 FanDuel or DraftKings points.
If I had to take a value play from this game, I think it would be I would take a shot on Smart from the Boston side, and then possibly like a Jonathan Isaac from the Orlando side. But I don't think that either one's going to be a key for me today.
Smart, eh?
Yeah, just because he's on DraftKings, he's 500 cheaper than Rozier.
I would take either one of them. You can flip that coin for me.
Yeah,
if I needed that $500, I don't have a problem with it. There's got to be something better than that out there, though.
Yeah, I'll say I don't intend on having either one.
I'm not a big Isaac guy. I think I would be if you were on a different team, but I just don't like. I mean, not that anybody really likes the way that these pieces fit together in Orlando. Yeah. I don't know what to make of those. I don't know. I guess on DK at 4,100. Price point is very appealing. He's 5,300 on FanDuel.
Oh yeah, no way over there.
Not possible in my opinion. I'm just trying to glance at prices to see if anybody else is like wildly different on either site. Yeah, I have no interest in Aaron Gordon. Just doesn't feel like a great Vooch spot. It's a Boston Orlando game. I don't expect it to be super fantasy viable, and I don't expect anybody to want to watch it.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Moving on. I don't know what to make of this Hornets team right now. Toronto and Charlotte. Toronto, 116 implied total. Hornets, 106.5. So 9.5 point favorites for Toronto at home. Kawhi back. I like Kawhi quite a bit. 9,800 on FanDuel, 8,800 on DK. He'll be a guy that I'll have quite a decent amount of. Although the Hornets defense has been really solid this year. Let me see if I still have it up here. I want to say they were top 5. Now I closed that tab because why would you want cleaning the glass to still be open, Josh? It's not like we're not going to look at basketball stats for the entire time here. Come on, cleaning the glass. I love your site, but you're not prompt. Yeah, so Hornets 3rd in defensive rating so far this season. Not that it's a huge sample, but I do like Kawhi. That's probably it on the Toronto side. Do you have any interest in anybody in Toronto other than Kawhi? Or not like Kawhi, I guess?
Oh, I do like Kawhi.
Okay.
Valanciunas, I would assume, starts here against Cody Zeller because he can defend Cody Zeller. So I think that Valanciunas has a path to pretty nice minutes for a $5,400 price tag, assuming he starts. If he doesn't start, then Pascal Siakam becomes a really good value play.
For sure. Yanis always in play, just like kind of a per possession monster.
Yeah,
you just have to make sure you're getting him in the right games.
Right, exactly, and it's all we can do this early in the morning is kind of guess, but it's something certainly to keep in mind. Like that Wizards game, it's not like I could throughout the day. You couldn't really recommend Valanciunas because we had no idea what they were going to do. But then as soon as he was announced as a starter, you get him at 1% in a spot where he was going to play, good minutes.
Yeah, but no interest for me on Lowry or Baca. No real interest for me in like any of the other value guys like Danny Green or Van Vliet. No DeLon Wright, I'm sure, but I don't know. Not super appealing.
Yeah, the price point on Van Vliet I think is just really, really thin. I had some interest in him last time just because there was the extra usage without Kawhi on the floor.
Yeah.
But with Kawhi back, I don't see the need.
No, not at all. He can get hot, but
He'll quote unquote pay off his price a reasonable amount of the time, but it's with 25 to 28 points. It's just so hard for him to actually hit a ceiling.
For sure. And we got the Charlotte side, Kemba 8,900 on FanDuel, 7,900 on DK. I mean, this doesn't feel like a great Kemba spot, but I don't know. This dude kind of transcends spots sometimes. I assume he'll just have like 40 fantasy points.
Yeah, I mean, I love Kemba. I talked about it a little bit. Since the start of last season, he's played over 500 minutes without Dwight Howard on the floor. He has a 31.5% usage percentage. He has a 31.5% assist percentage. He's averaging like 1.4 DraftKings points per minute over those 500 minutes. I am going to keep going to Kemba as long as he keeps being priced for his production last year.
That makes sense. I mean, he should be significantly better with Dwight off the floor because Dwight.
Yes, it's just a better fit. It's a better fit with Cody Zeller. And then, obviously it's more usage for Kemba as well.
8,900 on FanDuel is really difficult for me to get to.
Yeah, I agree with that. 76 on or whatever he is on DraftKings is just too cheap.
In Toronto, too. Like, it's a tough sell. These summing them correctly? Yeah, they are. Yeah, good to know. Batum 5,400 on DK. I mean, that's probably the play, right? Out of everybody on this team, he's just too cheap.
Yeah, it's a really good price. I mean, the minutes are going to be there. He contributes in a bunch of different ways, which gives him a nice floor. It's obviously not a great matchup, but at that price tag, I don't really care.
Yeah, I'm with you there. No real interest for me on Lamb or Monk. Although, welcome to basketball, Monk, I guess.
Yeah, I'm still not buying that. I still think Lamb's the guy that you want if you're going to play either of them. I do think Cody Zeller at 4,300 is a pretty good value play. Punting the center position on most slates isn't very appealing, but if you can make it work, I think that he's got a path, 28, 30 minutes here at 4,300. He can be close to a point per minute guy.
He looks like he's 600 years old.
Yeah, he does.
He is not aging well, and he's still relatively young.
Yeah.
Are you looking that up?
I think.
I have no idea right now. He could be
pretty sure he's younger than me. So
that's 26. Like he's 26.
Yeah.
Whew, crazy. Just not aging well. Oh my god. Is this a real picture? He looks terrible. Good luck, Cody. Good luck, Cody. Yeah, I don't know. Again, it should be I would have thought this would be a better game. 9.5 is a pretty healthy total or line. I'd like to watch it, but again, I don't have much coming out of this game outside of Kawhi as a guy that I want to have a decent amount of. And like you said, Yanis, GPP play if we know that he's going to start. Batum, too cheap on DK. Kemba, probably too cheap on DK.
Yeah.
Cruising through these first couple games.
Yeah, it's a nice change of pace from our normal morning.
Yeah. Bucks and Knicks. Bucks 118.5 implied total. Knicks 107. That is an 11.5 point line for the Bucks. Yanis 12-2 on FanDuel, 11-1 on DK. I have no reason to not like Yanis here, but he's not somebody that I would prioritize. I'll take whatever I get. He's just kind of there, but the Knicks are bad.
Knicks are very bad. Yeah, I love Yanis here. I expect him to take a step forward this year and be even better than he was last year. Probably average around 1.5 fantasy points per minute, play huge minutes. So yeah, I like him. The only real negative that you can say has nothing to do with him, and it's that on DraftKings at least, LeBron is cheaper, and LeBron's playing without Ingram and Rondo. So I think that LeBron is at least the better cash play, but if you're going to see a bunch more ownership potentially go to LeBron, then pivoting to Giannis in tournaments makes some sense.
Yeah, ownership will be interesting also on FanDuel. They're separated by $400. If you had to guess, what do you think the ownership is between Giannis and LeBron tonight?
Probably like 2-1 LeBron. I don't know though. Like
I would rather have Giannis then.
At some of the like baseline projections I'm looking at, Giannis is actually a little bit higher. I don't know that I think that's correct. I haven't gone through and done mine yet, but Yeah, no, I mean, if it were 2-1, I would take Giannis because they have the same ceiling.
Yeah. Like, I understand that Ingram is out and Rondo is out. I don't think the Rondo piece of Ingram. Oh my god, I can't even talk today. Thanks, Mondays. I don't think the Rondo piece matters at all to what LeBron would do on the floor, and I don't really think that Ingram's piece changes anything either. It's not like LeBron's going to suddenly play 44 minutes tonight.
No, but he's going to have the ball in his hands a lot more.
He should. It is the Spurs, which gives me a little bit of pause. That makes me like Giannis a little bit more. If LeBron has significantly more ownership than Giannis, I would just want the opposite.
But who do the Spurs have that plays defense anymore? I mean, who's going to defend them? DeRozan, Rudy Gay?
I like more of the rest of the Lakers than I like LeBron for a ceiling game tonight.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, going to the other guys, like Kuzma is going to get more minutes. Lonzo's clearly going to get more minutes. So yeah, I agree with you there.
Like LeBron Cash feels really comfortable for me because he's just going to have to be so involved without Ingram on the floor. But in GPPs, he's kind of in this mode where he's really trying to like make that extra pass and get everybody involved, and that's going to limit upside unless they start counting assists and hockey assists at higher point totals.
Yeah. No, I agree with you there with the way he's been playing.
And then we've got Middleton, Bledsoe. Bledsoe? You could probably talk me into. I mean, it's not like there's a lot of interest on anything on the other side defensively, although the Knicks, 6th in defensive rating so far this year. I don't know how you get there with this squad, but
yeah, I think it's actually kind of an interesting one to think through defensively. I don't put a whole lot of stock into individual defensive matchups in NBA just because games these days are played so fast and played in transition a lot that you just don't. It's not half court basketball anymore. No. But when you do think through how they will probably match up defensively, I would assume that Ntilikina is going to attempt to defend Yanis because of his wingspan and because he is the best defender out there.
Really?
So I would think they were putting him on 4s in the preseason. There's like otherwise Giannis is going to just they don't have a chance. Like what are they going to do? Lance Thomas, Tim Hardaway?
I was thinking Hardaway in this scenario.
I think Hardaway would end. I think my guess is Hardaway on Middleton, Burke on Bledsoe, Ntilikina on Giannis.
I don't want this to sound as stupid as it's going to sound when it comes out. What about Vonleh?
He would just get wrecked, wouldn't he?
I don't know. I mean, look, I get that Ntilikina has like long arms and all, but he's just not big enough, is he?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that's kind of their plan is to put him on their best like on-ball player. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think Giannis would just like go right around Vonleh every possession.
You might be right. I mean, does it really matter? Like,
right? Yeah.
It matters for everyone else, I guess.
Nobody's going to defend Giannis. The point that I'm getting to is that if you're going to get a lot of Trey Burke on Eric Bledsoe, then Bledsoe becomes really good.
I should have just let you get there. I agree. If Trey Burke is guarding Eric Bledsoe, it feels like a decent spot for Eric Bledsoe.
Yeah.
I like Brooke Lopez.
Yeah, Brooke Lopez against Enes Kanter at 4,600. That's pretty appealing.
For sure.
Also, Enes Kanter against Brooke Lopez is also appealing.
Yeah, I like it more for the Brooke Lopez side, especially at 4,600 on DraftKings. Kanter's not going to be able to stretch out with him. Could this? Right. Okay, so do you see this being less of a Kanter game then, and more Vonleh in this scenario? Because at least Vonleh can, stretch out.
I don't. The Knicks have been pretty sticky with Kanter's minutes so far. He's been playing more than I've expected him to. I don't remember off the top of my head if he's played a true stretch 5 yet, but my guess is that they let Kanter just eat on offense and then put up with his defense. Because the alternative is to probably still not have a great matchup with Vonleh against Lopez, but then also just get nothing on the offensive end. I mean, Cantor potentially can get so many just putbacks against Brook because Brook has no interest in rebounding. The only downside is that if Lopez is hanging out at the 3-point line, then you're going to have Cantor out there too, and the rebounds are going to go to whoever's playing the 4.
Where the hell did Milwaukee go? Damn list now. There it is. Milwaukee in 3-point frequency this year, first. That's crazy. They were 25th last year in percentage of shots from 3. They're first right now in their first 2 games. Oh God, man. If those shots start dropping, Cantor's plus minus might be -30 for this one. Because they're just going to chew them up if they leave them out there. Do you like Ntilikina here at 4,100?
I never liked Ntilikina for fantasy.
I mean, I don't disagree with you. He has a weighted points per possession in my model of 0.358, which is real bad. But
yeah, I mean, the minutes and the price are nice. Yeah. I'm hoping that I can find someone that has a little bit more upside.
Let's see. Milwaukee, 29th in turnover rate this year. They were 11th last year, so I don't buy too much into that. But if they were always like a really bad turnover team, it would make me a little bit more interested in Ntilikina.
Yeah, I agree.
If there's a lot of turnovers and a lot of minutes for a defensive guy, especially on FanDuel with 3-point steals.
Scrolling through, I agree with you there that you're going to want him. You want him in like fast-paced games where they're playing a sloppy team.
Yeah,
because he's just not involved enough offensively. Like he's not involved intentionally enough offensively. His upside is going to come when he can pick up a steal and then get a breakaway.
Yep.
Lance Stevenson's less expensive on DraftKings. I think.
Then you would certainly rather have Lance.
Yeah,
Lance has a ceiling.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm trying to find another piece of this game where we're like, okay, that could be feasible. Ilyasova at 4,400 on DK, 4,700 on FanDuel. I guess.
Yeah, those minutes have been nice. The price is still appealing.
If they keep getting threes up, he can get hot. This is just an ugly game. I don't want to overthink it too much. Yanis, Bledsoe, Brook Lopez. Some Cantor is fine. That's probably it for this game.
Yeah, that's where I am.
I don't need to hope for another Tim Hardaway heater.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he's always going to have a monster ceiling just because of how he can shoot every time down the floor if he wants to. Nobody's going to stop him. But I would rather go to Cantor for Knicks offensive production.
I need to look up Ntilikina right now. I feel like this is I'm calculating his shot attempts a bit incorrectly. Yeah, so I need to nerf him a little bit. I've got him in for way more potential shot attempts today than that's Trey Burke. No, still way too many. I've got him in for 11 field goal attempts today, and that is like 3 more than he should be taking. So
yeah, so that seems a little unlikely.
Yeah, these are the things you got to do when you're walking through it. Make sure there's a sense check on some of this stuff. Go ahead and nerf this dude. Where you hide, Ntilikina? All right, -10. There we go. Much better. I don't like Ntilikina as much now. Let's move on. Timberwolves and Pacers. Wolves 113.75 implied total. Pacers 111.25. 2-point favorites are Minnesota at home. Butler here, making his return to Minnesota after a nice day of rest for whatever reason. I hate this Minnesota team now because I liked Karl-Anthony Towns up until, let's say, I don't know, a month ago. Well, let's say a week and a half ago. And now he's just, I tried to watch some of it. I've never seen someone be less involved with the amount of talent that he has.
Yeah, it's pretty pathetic.
He took 6 shots against the Spurs. And now I know he fouled out. He took 9 shots against Milwaukee. Finally, he took 16 at Dallas, and Dallas is one of the worst defensive teams in basketball. But
and Jimmy Butler didn't play.
Right.
So 16 in that spot is actually less than he should have taken.
Yeah. Nobody's gonna yell at him for this. Like,
Right. Yeah, no, I personally am enjoying it because Karl-Anthony Towns normally is one of those guys that just absolutely burns me no matter what I do. When I play him, he sucks. When I don't play him, he's 30% owned and scores 80. I'm really enjoying just being able to not play him as long as Jimmy Butler's on the floor.
he's unplayable here, right? Unless you like the $8,700 price tag.
Right. I mean, the argument would be if everyone is analyzing it the same way we just did, there's certainly upside for him. But the mid-tier pricing on DraftKings has just been so soft that I don't see the need to really pile on to Towns and hope that he starts taking the ball from Jimmy Butler. I would rather just pay $8,000 for Jimmy Butler, knowing that 9 times out of 10 he's going to go out there and chuck a million shots.
Yeah, he's 10,100 on FanDuel. He's the most expensive center by $1,400. I see him as, look, in a GPP, he has the offensive skill set to be able to have a monster day. I can't imagine wanting him here.
Right, yeah, on FanDuel. On DraftKings, he's only 8K.
Right. Yeah, on FanDuel, I can't imagine wanting him. He should be essentially unowned on a 9-game slate at that price point, the way that he's playing. So I don't know if you like the idea of like a single-digit ownership Karl-Anthony Towns to pay up to be contrarian guy on FanDuel, go for it. Butler's got him shook, man.
Yeah, it's
I think Butler really piped his girl pretty good, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
Oh God. Meanwhile, Jimmy Butler 8K on DraftKings. What are they doing with their pricing?
I have no idea.
It's just like, are they just trying to let everybody roster everybody? Is that what we're doing here?
The fun thing has been that I guess since it's early in the season, these guys still haven't been as highly owned as they should be. So I haven't even really been getting too cute in tournaments and being like, oh, well, everyone's going to play Jimmy, so let me pivot to, X similarly priced guy, because guys in the spot where I think they're just super obvious plays are coming in at like 15% owned or 20% owned.
Yeah, he should be like, you have to smash him here. I don't care about the matchup. Indiana defense solid, but Jimmy Butler is not an $8,000 player on DraftKings.
No, not even close. I mean, he basically would need for 40 points. He needs like 1 fantasy point per minute.
Yeah,
and he's more productive than that
by quite a bit.
By a lot, yeah, by like 20%.
Karl-Anthony Towns shot attempts tonight. What's your guess?
12, okay. 11, 10.
How does that happen? I just don't get it. I really don't.
What are your thoughts on Derrick Rose?
4,600 on FanDuel, 4,400 on DraftKings. I mean, with Butler playing, I have a hard time believing he can get enough minutes. As a flyer, sure, but I don't like it today.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm interested in seeing if people chase those points. Obviously Butler being back will keep his ownership in check, keep Rose's ownership in check. But he had kind of had some weird game logs before where he was getting a few extra minutes that I don't think you can count on. Like he closed one game over Karl-Anthony Towns for like 3 minutes, which I don't think is going to be a sustainable plan going forward.
You would think.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think projecting Rose for like 22 to 24 minutes is the correct approach here. And with his price tag rising, there's still, if he goes out and either he's really efficient or the people he's passing the ball to are really efficient, he can still outperform that price tag, but I just don't think he's going to do it all that often. So if he's going to be popular, I'll go somewhere else.
Yeah, I don't see a need for it at 4,600 with Butler back. I have him in for 24 minutes, so I'm right there with you from a minutes perspective.
And it's worth pointing out too, he's playing no point guard. Like the point guard minutes are Jeff Teague and Tyus Jones. Yep. Rose is playing off ball.
Yep, I have Teague in for 33. I've got Tyus Jones in for 15. Yep, that totals 48.
Yep. Yeah, like Rose subs in for Butler, and then Butler subs back in for whoever.
I don't think that I'll have anything from Minnesota on FanDuel today.
Yeah, that sounds right. I'll just have Butler on DraftKings.
Yep. And I can see you getting to Towns if ownership is projected to be stupid low.
Yeah.
Indiana's side, Oladipo, 8,500 on FanDuel, 8,200 on DK. I'm inclined to like it here.
Yeah, it's at the very least, it's a nice floor. I assume that Jimmy will defend him because I don't know who else Jimmy would defend. But Oladipo should play, 35 to 37 minutes. I think he's most of the offense. He does everything. So yeah, I think that it's not a spot where I expect Oladipo to hit his ceiling all that often, but he certainly still can. And the minutes and the usage just give him such a high floor.
Same story there. What do you think of someone like Tyreek or some of the other backcourt guys? Everybody that Butler isn't guarding, I guess.
I don't think I can get there on Tyreek. The minutes just haven't been there enough. I'm assuming Sabonis is back. That kind of flattens the minutes for like everyone else that isn't Oladipo.
Yeah, I have everybody in like a 23 to 26 range, basically.
Yeah.
23
Yeah,
to
exactly.
29, I guess.
Yeah. If Sabonis is out, then I think you'll see more minutes. Obviously for Turner, for Thad Young, Evans, kind of as a trickle down effect, we'll see a little bit more playing time. But if Sabonis is in, it just kind of flattens everything.
Okay. Any Myles Turner love at 6K on DK?
I think it's decent. If Sabonis is out, obviously I like him a lot more. But I still think if Sabonis is in, you can see like 28 minutes from Turner. He's certainly not going to be a priority play for me if Sabonis is in.
Yeah, these first 4 games, just not a lot of fantasy love from me.
Minnesota does struggle defending stretch bigs, though. Turner should get some open looks with Cat being slow to close out on him.
Okay. I don't have anybody else that's interesting in this game.
Nope. This is kind of like a boring slate so far.
Yeah, 0 for 4 in terms of anything of value, but we've got a lot to come that I think we'll be very interested in.
Do we? I see like one game that I'm like, oh, that should be fun.
I think we're about to talk about one, and I don't think this is the one you meant. Dallas at home against Chicago. Mavs. Wait, is this one of the games that I said I made up the line?
Yes.
It was.
I think.
It may or may not be 6.5 and 227. What did I enter? 3.5 and 228. Let's make it 6.5. 27. Okay. So, as I said, 116.75 implied total for the Mavs, 110.25 for the Bulls. I mean, a lot of people here have to be fantasy viable because both defenses are dookie.
Yeah, I glazed over this one just now when I was looking at the games, so I'll make that 2 games that I like.
I figured you'd be here. Dallas, worst defense in the league, 126.9 points per 100 possessions so far. Bulls are 1, 2, 3. They are 7th, 118-4. Not going to be a lot of defense coming in here, although Kris Dunn should be back for Chicago, but I don't think that's going to be enough to turn them into a defensive juggernaut. So let's start on the Dallas side. DeAndre Jordan, I'm going to work my way through a couple of these guys just because I think there's a lot of viable stuff. DeAndre Jordan, not one of those things for me, really. 8,300 on FanDuel, 8,100 on DraftKings. I'm good on DeAndre. Any interest there?
Kind of. I think that it's a fine spot. Like, I think it's a good spot for DeAndre. I think the price tag is reasonable. I also am pretty confident that there's going to be guys with similar upside for less money on DraftKings.
Same. Yeah, I don't have an aversion to it. It's just he's just there.
Right, exactly.
Dennis Smith, 7,100 on FanDuel, 6,500 on DK. I assume he gets Kris Dunn?
Yeah, I would think so.
Okay. Probably a bit too expensive for me.
It's just to me, he like as long as Luka's the same price point, I think Luka's just gonna be more productive.
I would agree, and that gets us to Luka Doncic, 7,500 on FanDuel, 6,800 on DK, and should be getting a steady diet of a bunch of guys that can't guard him.
Yeah,
I love Luka again tonight. I loved him Saturday. I think that was Saturday. Maybe that was Friday. Whatever night I liked him. Saturday, because the wife was gone. Yeah, I'm on Team Luka again. The
Yeah,
Bulls are bad.
I think this is the first slate that I'm probably going to be there.
Get on board now, man. It's a great place to be.
Well, it's just like the first couple of days there were just guys right around him that I absolutely loved it, in price. And him only being point guard eligible has been really annoying. But I think I'll get there in this one.
Yeah, I'll have quite a bit of Luka, but I think the best value is the name that I'm about to say now, at least on FanDuel. Wes Matthews, 4,600 on FanDuel, 5,000 on DK. This is my spot. I want a lot of Wes Matthews, and I don't normally say that.
But yeah, I mean, he's entirely capable of disappearing in any matchup, but it's a good one for him. I mean, it's a Chicago team that is just awful defensively. They can't defend spot-up shooters. They can't defend in transition. They can't really do anything. So, yeah, I'm with you there. And really, really ugly name, but DFS is going to play like 30 minutes. He's been surprisingly productive.
Yeah.
I think that the pace of the modern NBA just makes a difference, I think.
It really does.
Like
4,100 on DK.
Guys, yeah, I mean, guys like that, they need these extra possessions, both on the defensive end to pick up an extra stat or two, but they're inefficient and they're not highly involved on offense. But if you're going to go from 100 possessions to 115, that's a pretty big difference for a guy who's minimum priced.
100%. I've liked what I've seen out of Jalen Brunson. I watched quite a bit of that Mavs game Saturday. I like Jalen Brunson. I'm sorry. I got to watch for Luka, man. Oh, God. Yeah, so I'm going to have a lot of Luka. Am I going to play Brunson? No, not in minutes. But I just, for a rookie, keeping an eye.
Yeah.
Keeping a close eye. Any Dwight Powell? The price is up a little bit now.
Yeah, I'm good.
Agreed. 5,100 on DK. That's too much.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's move to the Bulls here. Kris Dunn back. 7,400 on FanDuel. 6,300 on DK. Do you want any of Kris Dunn in his return?
He'll be in my player pool. I doubt that I prioritize him. Like I'd rather play Luka at a similar price point. I'd rather try and find the money for Zach LaVine for a little bit more. I think Dunn's a fine play. It's just that I think that at point guard, at the guard positions, there's just going to be so much upside.
Yeah, I'd rather have Lonzo at $800 cheaper.
Yeah, I hadn't even looked there, so yeah, I agree.
I don't have an aversion to Dunn. Dallas's defense is really bad. Den Smith Jr. really bad.
Yeah, he's still like the fourth guy on Chicago for me, though.
Yeah. We'll get to one that I think that we're probably both on, at least a little bit. Bobby Portis, 7,100 on FanDuel, 6,600 on DK. I mean,
they need to change his price. I mean, he's 40% owned every slate.
Yeah.
And normally he's such a volatile guy that would be like an easy fade, but he just is so productive with this team because he does get so many minutes and he gets peripherals. I mean, I don't know if he ever scored last game, but I know at one point he had 24 fantasy points with 0 real points.
Yeah, I don't know if he ever scored either, but I know that it was deep into the game for sure. Portis has the best weighted points per minute of the Bulls in my model.
Yeah. And this is a spot where he should do well. I mean, the Dallas is just so bad.
Yeah, I'll be on Bobby Portis once again. And then we have Zach LaVine. Oh, God. Shout out to the dude on Twitter saying he's a top 5 shooting guard in the NBA. That is fantastic. That's
absurd.
7,600 on FanDuel, 7,100 on DK. I don't know. I never like LaVine. I don't know what it is. I assume you like LaVine here.
Yeah, I like LaVine a lot. But it's like a mental bias thing for me where I have to, like, whenever I'm like just going through games, it's like, okay, yeah, whatever, Zach LaVine. And then it's not until I start looking at, my projections where I'm like, oh yeah, Zach LaVine's a phenomenal play because he's going to have like a 32% usage rate and play like 35 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no reason to not like LaVine here. There's not going to be a lot of defense. This could be real ugly if shots don't fall, but I like Portis quite a bit. I like LaVine quite a bit. You can probably talk me into some Jabari. 5,500 on FanDuel, 4,800 on DK. Are you a Jabari in Chicago believer right now?
No. The price, there's upside of his price tag, no question. But I don't know. He's been so bad shooting, and
Yeah.
it also just the minutes haven't really been there. I mean, he's basically just playing bench minutes, and then maybe he's closing. But we haven't seen what will happen if he actually gets hot. But yeah, I mean, there's upside, but I just don't really like him that much. I'd rather play Wendell Carter.
I was just gonna say 3,900 on DK. That is a very tasty punt play.
Yeah, and so he's a guy who I think is going to probably end up being a little bit overlooked by the industry just because the game logs are ugly, and anyone who lazily looks is going to be like, oh, his minutes are unpredictable, blah blah blah. He faced Joel Embiid and he faced Andre Drummond. He got in very early foul trouble against Embiid. He got in foul trouble against Drummond and missed like 7 minutes on his second quarter rotation. He also was subbed out for Jabari Parker in the closing minutes there. So that's another like 5 minutes he could have potentially played. So I think that projecting him for tournament purposes, projecting him for like 30 minutes is reasonable. For cash game purposes, even projecting him for like 26, I think is the appropriate spot.
I'm with you. I like Wendell Carter.
And DeAndre Jordan's not a high usage guy. Like, he should not be fouling DeAndre Jordan.
I'm hoping that Parker and Dunn play a lot of minutes together. I want to see how much Dunn can help the team's defensive rating when Parker is on the floor.
I don't think there's any saving that defense when Parker's on the floor.
You're probably right.
I think one of my favorite quotes out of the preseason was when a reporter asked, it was after the Bulls just got absolutely destroyed in a preseason game. And they asked Parker about their like defensive philosophy or what they needed to do to improve their defense. And Jabari just started talking about being more efficient offensively.
Any interest in Blakeney at 3,500?
Actually, I started to immediately say no, but I really don't think he's affected by the whole Kris Dunn thing. So yes, actually, 24-ish minutes, I think.
That's exactly what I have him at.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's going to be completely unowned because Dunn being back is going to make everyone just not look at the cheap backups. So yeah, I think that's a good tournament play. It's not going to be a core guy by any stretch, but even if you play, 5 to 10% Blakeney, you're going to be overweight.
Jeffrey Lanier. All you see LaVine do is dunk, but he is a quality player. I don't think he is, but he's a quality DFS player, and those are two separate things.
He's a very good DFS player.
Yeah.
He is one of the worst defensive players in the NBA.
Yeah. And not exactly a point guard, even though sometimes they seem to think that he is. Although that was more Minnesota
he's not really
than
an
Chicago.
Scorer.
No.
He's insanely athletic.
Yeah.
He's a nice volume scorer. He isn't particularly efficient, and he can't play defense.
Very true. Yeah, this should be you got to have parts of this game because it could go really crazy from a DFS scoring perspective. Anybody else? Did I miss anybody that you had an eye
on? I mean, Justin Holiday, but like I hate Justin Holiday, to be clear, but he should play close to 30 minutes.
I think you gotta prioritize Blakeney over Holiday.
Yeah, for $1,000 less.
Yeah, I'd have a hard time paying up.
The problem is that
paying up for Justin Holiday.
Well, yeah, the issue for me is that Blakeney is only a point guard on DraftKings, whereas Holiday is guard forward eligible.
That helps. That helps quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any confidence in Justin Holiday, but this is the kind of game where it wouldn't be all that surprising if Holiday just somehow picks up 30 fantasy points.
Of every Bull that I projected with minutes today, Holiday has the second worst weighted points per minute.
Yeah,
just behind Archidicano.
Yeah, I
didn't say that correctly, but whatever.
I have no idea how to pronounce that guy's name. I'm so glad Kris Dunn is back. But yeah, no, I mean, I have Holiday behind Blakeney, Carter, Parker, Dunn, Portis, LaVine, like, to be clear. But anybody that's going to play around 30 minutes in this game at a cheap price tag is fine by me.
Agreed. Jazz and Grizzlies. Yikes. Jazz 114.75 implied total. Grizz 104.25. Lowest implied total of the slate. Oh boy. Let's start with the Jazz here. God, I'm getting like an error on Grayson Allen's field goal attempts. How? Why? Okay, I guess maybe because I have him in for 1 minute. I'm gonna delete that and just make it a little bit easier. I don't like the way that it looks. I don't know why I have him in for 1 minute either. Seems unnecessary. Donovan Mitchell is the golden god of my projection system. 8,500 on FanDuel, 7,800 on DraftKings. Do you want any Donovan Mitchell here against this Grizzlies squad?
I don't have a problem with him. I don't know how much I'll end up with. I'd rather play Kemba. Same price. I'd rather play Kemba. I'll probably be cool with like whatever Cruncher gives me on Donovan Mitchell.
I know that he'll give me a lot because I always get a lot. Started off the season 7,700 on FanDuel, went up to 8,000, now up to 85K. His totals so far have been, low 30s. I don't know why his price has risen, especially in this game. I mean, if he wasn't good at 8K, I don't really love him at 85. But I mean, the dude's gonna shoot the ball. That's for sure. Not afraid of that. Any parts of the Jazz that you want to prioritize here?
Kind of none.
Yeah, I think
The prices are just more fair for these guys than they are for most. I mean, Ingles has played really well, but I don't think 64 is a great value on him.
71 on FanDuel.
Yeah. I mean, it's just he's fine, but I just don't really see excess value there. Same goes for Rubio. I like Gobert, but center is a position that you can get a lot of upside for cheap. And it's not the easiest spot against Gasol. Like, it's the one spot against Memphis that there's actually a capable defender on the floor.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I don't. Maybe I'm just being biased because it's Utah Memphis, and I can't get over the fact that I mentally have this projected for like 190 points. But I don't know. I don't see any great values on Utah.
You could talk me into Dante Exum at 4,100 on DK, but I mean, that's a deep cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that appealing. And Memphis, though, it's got to be Jaren Jackson at 5,200, right?
Yeah.
Like
I mean, JaMychal Green's out. Yeah, JaMychal Green's out. So the minutes are, secure for Jackson. He should get back up 5 minutes as well. So yeah, I like him a lot.
I mean, if Conley and Gasol are 66 and 64 respectively on DK, they're in play.
Yeah, they are. I'm not prioritizing either one, but they're in play. Chandler Parsons at 3,600. He needs to hurry up and get hurt because I'm tired of playing him already. But I mean, 24-ish minutes at 3,600 is fine.
Yeah, and he works well if you're, trying to punt one of the spots of small forward on FanDuel. Like, he's under 4K, he's gonna get the minutes. So I'm with you. He needs to hurry up and get hurt. So let's talk about this one because I don't know if I'm just crazy or what, but Omri Caspi?
Yeah, I was actually going to say that. I haven't gone through and mapped out what I think his actual minutes are going to be, but the baseline stuff I'm looking at, if he's going to play low 20s at 3,200, that's perfectly fine.
Yep. Same page there. I have him in for 22 minutes. So he is a feasible play on both FanDuel and DK. DK, though, 200 above the minimum. Can't quite beat it. I like these are the pitfalls that I end up running into where I like Conley and Gasol here because they're at a point per dollar basis, and when they're that price on DraftKings, they're hard to ignore. The Grizzlies are just so bad and so unappealing, especially against the Jazz. So Jaren Jackson on DK is the only guy that I'm really interested in.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too.
Cool. 3 games left. All 3 of them I think are potentially interesting. Portland and Washington. Portland 115.5 implied total. Washington 110.5. It's a 5-point favorite for Portland. We'll start with the Portland side. Dame, 10K on FanDuel, 8,600 on DK. Gotta like Dame, right?
Yeah, for sure. He's been underpriced all season long. Not a terrible spot for him. This is a kind of appealing game to me just because both of these teams, you generally know where the production is going to come from. So yeah, I do have interest in Dame here. I think it's a spot that he should do well. I don't have interest in CJ McCollum. He has not been playing back, or at least I didn't check their last game, but going into their last game, he had not been playing backup point guard minutes. And that's where a ton of his productivity comes from. So until we see that start to happen, nope, 100% of his minutes were alongside Damian Lillard again.
He played
that does actually.
He was shit against San Antonio.
Yeah,
picked it up late.
So that Lillard gets hurt a little bit by this because in the past you would have McCollum sub out and then you would get Lillard would get playing time without McCollum, where he's more productive. He's getting none of that either. But Lillard obviously is the one that's going to dominate offensively when they're on the floor together. He just takes a little bit of a hit. CJ McCollum becomes virtually unplayable.
Yeah, I have no interest in McCollum, although he grades out. He grades out so well.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, he's not getting those bench minutes with guys that are going to let him get monster usage. The one thing with Lillard, just when you're doing projections, make sure that you double check your rates for Lillard, because if you're pulling from previous seasons, you're going to project a little bit high because of the rotation that Portland used to use compared to the one they're using now.
A good point. Yeah, point guard on DraftKings. So we've got we've got Curry at 10-1, which is just ludicrous. To see everybody else's prices, and then you get Lillard 86, Wall 89, Mitchell 78, Oladipo 82, Kemba 79, Devin Booker 84. Like, I love Curry today, at least on FanDuel. I can't imagine ever wanting to pay 10-1 on DraftKings when all of these other point guard eligible guys are in like the mid 8s to high 7s.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I don't
like. Yeah,
$1,200 more expensive than the most expensive point guard. I don't get it.
Yeah,
doesn't make a lick of sense. I don't want any CJ. What about Nurkic here? This should be a good spot, right? 27. I got him in for 27 minutes. He's 7,400 on FanDuel, 6,200 on DK. I think this is a really nice Nurkic look.
I think it's a really nice spot. I think his price tag is insanely wrong.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, he should play like 28 minutes here. So the risk, Washington's going to be a pain in the ass to project this season because they've said they want to play small and they have the team to do it. But Scott Brooks has never, he's talked for the last couple of years about wanting to play small, and then he never consistently commits to it. So that there's always going to be that risk that they go with, a lineup that has, Key for Jason Smith or someone at the 5, and it makes life difficult for Nurkic. But against Toronto, you got 18 minutes out of Mahinmi. Mahinmi didn't play at all in the fourth quarter of that game. They went with combinations of Jason Smith, Markieff Morris at the 5. So that's the concern for Nurkic, is that he gets run off the floor a little bit, but at his price tag, the upside is just absolutely phenomenal. So I think I don't want Markieff Morris in lineups that I have Nurkic, because I think that they negatively correlate with each other.
Agreed.
But certainly you can play some, Nurkic one-offs, and then in separate lineups, have like Markieff Morris, because he's going to be really productive if he's playing the 5.
Yeah, Nurkic is not going to do well trying to guard Markieff Morris if Markieff Morris is at the 5. We'll be liking a lot of Mo Harkless or Aminu or somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
So speaking of those guys,
Zach Collins.
Yeah, Aminu at 4,600 on DraftKings is too cheap.
Yeah, I just hate Aminu so much.
So do I.
But I agree. If he's going to be popular, I'll go a different direction. I think this is a game where Zach Collins could play a few extra minutes.
Yeah.
Just because of, like, with Howard out, it just makes it so much easier for Brooks to go small.
Yep.
And Zach Collins is their small ball 5. I could see, like, I think that for cash game purposes, you should be projecting Collins for like 20 or 22 minutes. But for tournaments, if you wanted to run some projections or some crunches, whatever, with Collins, like 26 minutes, I think that would make sense. Just, again, make sure you don't have him with Nurkic.
Anybody else you want from Portland?
Nah.
To the Wizards, 9,800 on FanDuel for John Wall, 8,900 for Wall on DK. I'm a big fan of John Wall tonight.
Relative to other guys, though, it's just like, how do you get there? He has a really high floor, but he's just not as volatile as other expensive players. And like, you can't tell me that he has a higher ceiling than Kemba. And Kemba's, 1,300 less on DraftKings.
You're right. Maybe I'm wrong.
And also Bradley Beal is 7,000. So
yeah,
normally like that, these are the two guys that the Washington offense runs through. Obviously, and I think there's more excess value on Beal than on Wall. So I would rather just like have Beal and then take a Kemba Walker or something.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you that Beal has more value relative to his salary. This is purely gut. I feel a big John Wall game here.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. And I think I'm also kind of lower on Wall just because of where his ownership's been the first couple of slates. He's, for whatever reason, I think in baselines projecting higher than he should be. He was like cash game chalk on DraftKings last time Washington played at 8,500 on a slate where you had, like Kyle Lowry without Kawhi for 1,000 less. You had Kyrie without Hayward for 1,000 less. You had Kemba for like 1,000 less. Yeah. John Wall was in like every sharp player's cash lineup. So I think that his baselines are just like off or something, and he's over projecting. So that leads to him being higher owned than he really should be.
Yeah, he has the highest weighted points per possession of any person in this entire game, higher than Dame.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and that's I'm gonna have to dig into that one. That's not just like based on that. That is literal, just raw totals, just weighted for recency. I'm not like modeling out anything. Just his raw fantasy totals over the past X amount of time. Wall has been better on a per possession basis than Dame Lillard. Wouldn't have expected that. CJ's is really low. Holy shit.
Yeah.
CJ 4.471, just slightly ahead of Otto Porter. That is not how you think about it from a fantasy scoring perspective.
Otto Porter is another one I think you can look to. I would prefer not to play him in Nurkic lineups though.
Same. What do you think of Markieff though? 5K on both sites.
I like him. So I expect he'll get time at the 5. Last year, overall, Keefe averaged like 0.85 DraftKings points per minute. But when he played without another center on the floor, he was at about 1.05. So I think that he has a path to be pretty productive here. He's not going to defend a high usage player either, which is nice because he tends to foul a lot. So there's obviously volatility with him for a couple of reasons, but I think that the price tag's cheap, and I think that the fact that he's so tough to predict, like a median outcome, always leads to relatively low ownership for him.
Yeah,
I would rather.
I had a lot of him on Saturday night, and that went pretty well. I think it was Saturday night.
I'd rather play him than Aminu.
Oh, absolutely. Not even close for me.
Which I think is not going to be the consensus. I'm just looking at a popular site's projections right now, and they have Aminu projected for 6 more DraftKings points than Keefe.
I have him projected for 1.1 more than Keefe right now. But I mean, I don't see like Aminu with really big error bars either.
Right, exactly. And that's, people tend to, I mean, it's in every sport, but people prefer that in tournaments when they should not.
Yeah. Markieff has real ceiling potential, whereas Aminu,
Aminu has to like
he needs to be shot lucky and steal lucky.
Yeah, exactly. Aminu needs to walk into 4 steals, 2 blocks, and shoot 6 of 6 from the corner.
Yeah. Trying to see any other Jason Smith at 3,100.
Yeah, was going to say, I didn't realize he was 3,100, but I was going to say he's probably going to play like 18 minutes, but
That's exactly what I have him in for.
yeah, that was kind of just an off the cuff guess, but there's a path to a ceiling for him. So he's not someone that I want a lot of exposure to, but the fact that he is probably intended to play 18 minutes means that if you do get like Markieff in foul trouble or Mahinmi in foul trouble or something like that, then Smith suddenly is going to play 22, 23 minutes and put up probably 21, 22 fantasy points.
Yeah. All right. Favorite play out of this entire game?
Nurkic and Keefe not together.
There we go. 2 games left. Golden State Warriors hosting the Phoenix Suns. Warriors 120.5 implied total, highest of the slate. Suns 108. Work our way through Golden State here. Curry 10-2 on FanDuel, 10-1 on DK. I see him as essentially, I don't want to say unplayable because it's Steph Curry, but I can't imagine wanting to pay 10-1 on DraftKings. 10-2 on FanDuel, on the other hand, I am a big fan of.
I'll play him on DraftKings. He's a shooting guard there too.
That helps.
I'd rather.
Why is he a shooting guard there? That's just silly.
I don't know. He's been a shooting guard for like 2 years now, and they haven't fixed it.
That's so silly.
But yeah, I mean, I guess it is an expensive price tag, and
no one else has expensive price tags on DK right now except for basically Curry and Durant. Like everybody else is just priced lower than that. Yeah, that keeps his ownership down. It's interesting,
right? And yeah, I mean, I guess because like at first, like 10-1 for Curry against Phoenix, that's pretty appealing, and it is. But when you factor in how everyone else is priced, I think you're right.
Right.
I mean, even just like on the other side, Devin Booker's $1,700 less expensive.
Yeah, it's hard to get there. But 10-2 for Curry on FanDuel, I can buy that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like if you project Curry for 50 to 52 fantasy points, which I think is reasonable, it probably still doesn't give you a lot of him.
Right. Yeah. So like I have Curry. I mean, Lillard $200 cheaper than Curry on FanDuel. I'd rather have Curry. Wall $400 cheaper. I'd rather have Curry.
Yep.
Like Kemba at 89. I'd still probably rather have Curry. I don't even know who I'd have to get to before. Like by the time I get any further down, I'm making a very different lineup. So Curry's going to be really popular for me.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Phoenix's defense is not good. I'm not too worried about Devin Booker or Isaiah Cannon or Jamal Crawford or I don't know who the hell else is going to guard anybody in the backcourt.
Jamal Crawford's a lockdown defender, man.
Has he ever been?
No. He's Jabari Parker of backup shooting guards.
Oh my god. Crawford wasn't a lockdown defender even when he was athletic. Now he's 97 years old.
Right.
Playing for the upstart Suns. Okay. So let's
You got to just someone loves basketball when they're like 86 and they sign a contract with the Suns.
Yeah.
It's like, do I want to go play at the YMCA or do I want to play for the Suns?
This is such a weird team. Like, all right, just as an aside, I'm going to read off the 10 guys that I projected minutes to. Devin Booker, like high ceiling young guy. DeAndre Ayton, high ceiling young guy. Josh Jackson, I don't think is very good, but like high ceiling young guy. Isaiah Cannon, scrap heap guard. Trevor Ariza, no ceiling old guy. TJ Warren, I don't know, maybe one of the biggest question marks in the league. Ryan Anderson, old guy, but not super old. Bridges, young. Jamal Crawford, old. Tyson Chandler, old. This team is all over the map.
Yeah, they are.
They're either old, washed up, or scrap heap guys, or just top 5 picks. I don't get none of these guys. How did they miss so bad on Bender and Kris? Is it just because they're Phoenix?
I think the jury's still out on Kris. Bender sucks.
I would have went the other direction. I think they both
I'm
suck.
not a Bender guy.
I'm not a either guy, I guess. How do you... It's like a nature-nurture thing. I think that if you put both of those guys on 2 separate teams, their careers are so dramatically different.
If Marquise Chris had been drafted by the Rockets, he would be like a household name by now.
You would think. I don't know what to make of these. Like, should more players just be like, look, I'm not going to sign with you?
Should they? Maybe.
Like, if you're Joggin Bender that year, or Marquise Chris for that matter, and the Suns call you and they're like, we're going to take you here, we're going to slowly get to a point where they can just be like, no thanks, I'll go play the D League for a year.
Yeah, no, I agree.
You want to tank the pick, that's fine, but like, I'm going to ruin my career if I play 5 years for you in Phoenix.
Right.
That I don't know why more people don't do that. Is it just because of like the like ridiculous amount of money to start that it's hard to turn your back on that?
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, you're taking a pretty significant risk by not taking millions of dollars, because and it's not like baseball where there's a chance that you're going to just flame out in the minor leagues anyway. Like, you're immediately on an NBA roster making millions of dollars.
Yeah, like if you're Jaren Jackson, I mean, I guess it's fun to, learn from Marc Gasol, but I can only imagine him being like, you know what, we're probably going to blow dick in Memphis for 5 years. Is this really going to make me look better?
Also, with NBA, I'm just kind of like thinking about it compared to baseball. Like with NBA, because there's no minor leagues, when their first 5-year contract is up, these guys are still 25 years old and in their prime.
Yeah.
As opposed to being 28 and already over the hill.
Oh, I hate the fucking draft. I guess that's my biggest problem with it all. I just hate the draft.
Yeah.
I love the draft as like an entertainment avenue, but I just wish that everybody was out there and can sign wherever they want.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of there would have to be rules in place about it, just because small market team, like obviously, I guess in NBA you have the salary cap, but like baseball, it would just be ridiculous.
Like, it's not like DeAndre Ayton is just going to sign for $1 million to go play with the Warriors. He's just gonna go to like the best possible situation for DeAndre Ayton.
Right.
That'd be an interesting thought process. Where does what team is DeAndre Ayton on right now? If the entire if anybody could bid on anybody heading into this year, is he the center for the Mavs?
Probably, yeah. That would make sense. Mavs, Wizards.
Yeah, like I think the Mavs just say, okay, well, we're going to bring in Ayton and Doncic instead of having to trade a first-round pick from the next year to do it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be way more fun? Just like wondering where these guys are going to sign. Then they do it like signing day for college, where they have like a bunch of hats out in front of them.
Yeah, it would be free agency on crack.
Yeah, because nobody really gives a shit. That's a good example. Like Mikal Bridges, for instance. Like, he could end up anywhere in that scenario because he's not going to be prioritized. But man, letting the best players in the league just sign where they want. They're not just going to sign to be like the 9th guy on a good team.
Yeah.
They're going to take the money. Let them go get $15 million a year or something stupid. I mean, you probably need a cap, but
yeah.
All right, that's my rant. Back to actual DFS discussion. I just like talking basketball. Durant 10-8 on FanDuel, 10-4 on DraftKings. I'm fine with it, but it's not it's not super appealing.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm not forcing him in. I'm not taking him out.
Yeah, I wish I had more interesting stuff to say, but at the very least, Josh Jackson, Trevor Ariza, they can body up Durant a little bit. Just they'll make him work more than most.
Yeah.
Draymond.
I think the Phoenix side.
Ooh. Okay. We can get there. I don't have much interest in Draymond. 5,600 for Clay, I think, is worth a peek against Phoenix.
I agree with you. Let me. Are they still running? I haven't looked at their rotation yet, but is Clay still starting the fourth quarter? Because I think that when you get his he is. You get his minutes are just so solidified regardless of game flow because he starts the fourth quarter. So as long as it's not like 35 points already, he's going to come in and play at least like 6 more minutes.
Yeah, and it certainly could be.
Yeah, but yeah, so I really like Clay. I really like Draymond. Like the cheap pieces here are from Golden State are the ones that I am most interested in, and it doesn't hurt that Clay and Draymond both start the fourth quarter. Curry's the only one out of the group that doesn't.
Jeffrey Lanier in chat. Phoenix hasn't been competitive since Barkley, Marley, Johnson, West, and Chambers. That couldn't be less accurate. Finally, forgetting about that incredible Steve Nash Suns team.
Yeah.
A hip check away from being in the finals.
So I have a really interesting value play from Phoenix, I think.
Let me try to guess who it is. Is it Ryan Anderson?
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. 3,800 on DK, 3,600 on FanDuel. He's a guy that will be a heavy member of the under 4K groups guy for me. Grades out really well.
Yeah, and so in addition to him being really cheap and basically being locked into 23, 24 minutes, Tyson Chandler should not come off the bench in this. So in like the last game against Denver, Phoenix ran a true center the entire game, but Denver has a center combination of Jokic and Plumlee.
Let's see where you're going.
There's no reason for Tyson Chandler to be playing against Draymond Green or Kevon Looney or whoever Golden State goes with as their backup center.
Yep.
So you're going to see, I would think, either Rashawn Holmes is certainly a possibility to play those minutes, or Ryan Anderson gets a few extra minutes at center.
Yep. Yeah, big Ryan Anderson fan for tonight. We're on the same page. So
I think he's got a minutes floor, but then he's got the possibility of playing a few extra center minutes.
Now, don't get me wrong. He could have a legitimate 0 fantasy point game straight through the box score. This guy doesn't do shit.
Oh, he sucks. Yeah, yeah.
Outside of being able to shoot the ball from distance, he is a 0 in every statistical category.
Yeah. I mean, it's risky from that perspective. I'm not saying he has a production floor, but he has a minutes floor with the upside for some time at the 5.
Edward McAdams in chat, who's been going real hard in the paint here, really wants to play Kyle O'Quinn tonight. Sabonis should be back. Kyle O'Quinn should be playing 0 minutes. So
yeah, play O'Quinn if Sabonis is out.
Yeah, but otherwise, you're not looking in the right direction. Booker 8,400 on both sites.
Yes, please.
Yeah, have to, right?
Yep, Booker, Ayton. I like both of those guys. 6,800 on Ayton on DraftKings is really, really nice. Assuming that the ankle's fine. But yeah, and then Devin Booker, I mean, if you run his numbers without any of the handful of point guards Phoenix has had over the last year, Bledsoe, Peyton, Mike James was a usage guy. Yeah, Ulis. If you take all those guys off the floor so that you're accounting for Booker having the ball in his hands, he's got like a 30, I'm going off memory, but I think it's a 32% usage percentage and a 38% assist percentage. That's a lot, and he's locked into minutes. It's a fast-paced game. I think Booker's a really, really good play.
Yeah, I have Booker in for a 33% usage in this game.
I'd rather play Booker than Wall, at least in tournaments, probably in cash.
Agreed. Edward McAdams going for it hard again. My cheap value tonight will be O'Quinn if Leaf and Sabonis are out. I'm going to say this one more time. Yeah, you are not in the minority there, sir.
If Sabonis is out.
Yeah, Kyle O'Quinn is a fantastic point per minute guy when you know that the minutes are going to be there, as he was 2 nights ago. No Josh Jackson for me. No Isaiah Cannon for me. No probably anybody else.
Yeah, anyone else would be just hoping for an outlier game in terms of minutes, which is fine. I mean, Josh Jackson and TJ Warren both should be productive if for some reason they play 30 instead of 25. But you can't project them for that. If you want to run some lineups, go ahead. But
late night hammer. Lakers and Spurs. Lakers. Do we have a line yet? I made it up.
I don't see one.
I already closed that too. We have a line. What do you think the line is? Since you don't see it.
Lakers by 5 and 228.
Okay, you're off by just a hair. It's San Antonio favored by 1.5.
What?
Yeah. 221.5 is the total.
Okay, so that's a game where I would bet differently.
You, yeah, you like the Lakers a little bit here?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll start on the Lakers side because, who gives a shit about the Spurs? LeBron, 11-8 on FanDuel, 10-5 on DK. He's going to be crazy popular.
Yeah. As he should be, but...
Yeah, I would... If that popularity is there, I would prefer Yanis on FanDuel just because of ownership. But I think LeBron in cash is going to be like a 80-something% dude on FanDuel.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, there's nothing like bad to say about LeBron.
No.
The floor is there. The question of where the ceiling's at right now is legitimate.
Mm-hmm.
The price tag is cheap enough to where I think it takes those concerns in. Like if you were talking about LeBron actually looking to take over games offensively at this point in the season, playing 38 minutes on a team that plays as fast as the Lakers, 10,500 would be absolutely absurd. So I think the price tag does take into account the fact that he's not taking games over yet. So there is still plenty of upside at that price. It's just when you start looking at opportunity cost relative to his ceiling that it starts to get a little bit dicey.
Yep. Lonzo Ball, 6,800 on FanDuel, 5,500 on DK. I mean,
that's like
ludicrous.
DraftKings price like lock.
Yep. I mean, I don't want to say lock on FanDuel, but I mean, you should be having a decent amount of Lonzo Ball on both sides tonight. Kyle Kuzma, 6,500 on FanDuel, 5,500 on DK. Again, got to be playing Kuzma.
Agreed. Yeah, and then you have Lance Stevenson at 3,800. Yeah. More minutes, more production. Josh Hart, I like his price tag. I don't 5,100 on DraftKings. Relative to everyone else, there's less value there than there is in like Alonzo or Kuzma.
Yeah.
But he looked really good in preseason. He's played really, really well. He should play a bunch of minutes here.
What do you think of KCP? Anything here? Just because of the minutes? Do you have any interest?
Yeah, I mean the price tag and the minutes are nice. I hate KCP as a fantasy basketball player.
I'd say any of the top 7. LeBron, Ball, Kuzma, Hart, KCP, JaVale, Lance.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah.
This is a spot where I will probably have multiple guys in like every lineup.
Yeah. Have to, I think. Just I mean, when you lose out on I don't know 55 total game minutes.
Yeah, and a ton of touches.
Yeah.
And this is not a spot where I think you have to force, Spurs in to run it back. Not that it's a bad spot for San Antonio. Obviously, it's a huge pace-up spot. And I think that DeRozan, Gay, Aldridge are all good plays. But it's not like if you force, 2 or 3 Lakers into every lineup, you're still not really running a really high risk of them blowing the Spurs out. And so you don't have to make artificial game stacks. You can certainly have lineups that have a few Lakers and no Spurs and be perfectly fine.
Yeah. But there are some Spurs to be liked here today. Sure. LaMarcus Aldridge, 8,800 on FanDuel, 7,800 on DK.
Yep, that's a
Who
core
guards
play.
Him? LeBron?
Yeah. I mean LeBron and Kuz. But you should get a few backup 5 minutes for Aldridge here too.
Yeah. He might be one of the better plays of the day. There's just no defense on the opposite side.
And so many possessions.
Yeah. DeMar, 8,200 on FanDuel, 7,400 on DK. I see no reason not to like that.
Agreed.
Rudy Gay looks good. I don't know what to make of Powell. Can't do it, right? Not enough minutes.
Revenge game. No. How much is he? 4,700.
Yeah. There's better out there, I think.
Yeah, I'd be more tempted to roll the dice on Pirtle. Like his minutes are all over the place.
Yeah.
But this is he's athletic enough to play in this game. Like he's a really athletic big, and we haven't seen him play big minutes yet. But if he were to play 24 minutes here, you probably get 28 fantasy points.
Antoine Murphy, LaMarcus Aldridge or Draymond? This is not even a remotely close question.
Aldridge.
Yeah. 5 miles. Any Patty Mills? 4,200 on DK, but he's only 4,000 on FanDuel.
What position is he on FanDuel?
Point guard, I believe.
That hurts.
Yeah, point guard.
Yeah, that hurts. The opportunity cost is just high. But yeah, I think the price tag's fair. I like Rudy Gay also. God, this whole team is just so cheap on DraftKings.
I'm not a big Gay guy.
I've seen that now.
Oh, nice.
Someone linked me to it on Twitter.
Oh, that makes me happy. 6,100 for Gay on FanDuel, 5,500 on DK. Yeah, he should do pretty well here with very little defense on the opposite side.
I mean,
this is a really bad defensive team.
Future, and not even because I'm going to force them.
Wait, what?
I see a lot of game stacks in my future, and not even because I'm going to force them in. I think it's just going to be like, okay, go ahead and run Cruncher, and it's going to be like 3 Spurs, 3 Lakers, 3 Spurs, 3 Lakers.
Yep. It's just too good. So were you watching that game, the Houston-LA game, when it happened?
No.
I was. It was nuts. I was just starting to fall asleep, too, and I was like, uh-oh. I got really nervous it was going to get real hype. I can't believe the way that they doled out those suspensions.
I thought Ingram deserved the most.
I think Rondo deserves the most by far.
I also haven't watched it to figure out if I think he actually spit it ball or not.
He did.
Okay.
The video is out now where you can see it. I mean, it's not like he's like hawking a loogie in his face, but like it is 100% clear that he spits in his face. Like
intentionally or yelling?
No, intentionally.
Okay.
It's one of those, like, if you've got like a little bit of thick spit, you could like kind of like shoot it out like a blow dart, like a real quick one.
Yeah.
You just like, and then like you see his lips move, and then that's when Paul starts like face mushing him and stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't think, like, I don't know what Chris Paul is supposed to do in that scenario.
Right. Like, do you not punch him?
No, he's good. But Rondo, repeat offender, not the best guy for the league. Has no problem using slurs.
Yeah.
Just, he should be getting a significantly larger suspension. Ingram's, I was just like, whatever. He should be suspended, and he made some really bad decisions there. But to me, it all goes haywire once Rondo... Nothing happens if Rondo doesn't spit in Chris Paul's face.
Yeah, I'm with
Ingram gets teed up for pushing Harden, and then that's just it.
Yeah. Side note, did you see that there was a picture I saw on Twitter last night? From, I guess, I don't know, Ingram looks like he's probably like 16 at some basketball game or basketball camp, taking a picture with Chris Paul.
No, I didn't see it.
Yeah, it was kind of funny.
I don't know why Ingram got so salty either. He did not like Harden begging for a foul, but I mean, I guess it probably wears on you after a little bit, considering he does it constantly.
Yeah, but I don't know. Them being out makes life easier for us with the Lakers for a couple days at least.
Definitely. Okay, well, that is it. Do we want to hit our favorite plays at each position?
Sure.
Okay.
I still don't have my actual projections done, so I'm kind of going off memory. But
all right, let's talk point guard.
You can go first. I'm trying to organize my.
Okay, and I'm going to be looking at it from a FanDuel scope, so I assume you'll be putting these out as a more DK answer.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. That'll be perfect. So let's look at this now. For me, Curry at 10-2, just relative to everybody else's price point, he'll be a guy that I end up with quite a bit. I think Eric Bledsoe is interesting. Lonzo Ball going to be incredibly popular, as he should be, at 6,800. Anybody else that I want to point out there? No. Yeah, that might be it. Point guard, not great on FanDuel today.
Yeah. Luka, I like a lot at 6,800. Devin Booker, quite a bit. Kemba, you have Curry and Lillard, I think, is 2 of the highest scorers. John Wall as well, but they're relatively expensive compared to other guys. Yeah, not a great. I think Bledsoe's a decent play, and then Lonzo is like cash game lock, tournament core play at 5,500. Just really, really tough for him to fail.
Yeah. Shooting guard. Jimmy Butler on DK. I just want to say it. 9,600 on FanDuel. I'm not as interested in him there. So give me some Victor Oladipo, Devin Booker at 8,400. God, CJ McCollum's price is just insane, but I don't trust it. I won't do it. Luka, Zach LaVine, Wesley Matthews is probably my favorite on a dollar for dollar basis, which scares me. Josh Hart, KCP, lots to like at shooting guard today. Justin Holiday, if you want to go there. Blakeney, if you want to go there, although 4,100 on FanDuel, a little bit less appealing.
Yeah, DraftKings, Kawhi, Butler, Oladipo, but I would rank him behind both of those guys. Also behind DeMar DeRozan. I like DeRozan quite a bit. Zach LaVine, I think's a good play. Klay Thompson's price tag is too cheap at 5,600. You can look to like Lance Stevenson for value, I think, at 3,800.
There you go. Small forward we go. Clearly I like LeBron. Clearly I like Yanis. I prefer Yanis to LeBron in tournaments. I don't have a ton of interest in Durant, but it's not like I would say no to it. Kawhi will be a guy I have quite a bit of at 9,800. He's too underpriced compared to the rest of those guys. There's no reason that Kawhi isn't Kawhi. That's what I don't understand. So,
and Kyle Lowry's deferring to him as well.
Yeah, by a lot too.
Yeah,
Kawhi didn't look great in the Celtics game Friday night in the first half, or at least in the first quarter. And then he's 3 for 10, I think, in the first half. He came out gangbusters in the third quarter. I watched most of that game. So I will have a lot of Kawhi at 9,800. If we're working our way down, Rudy Gay at 6,100 looks like he could be pretty appealing. You could probably talk me into some $5,500 Jabari. Lance Stevenson at 4,800 with all these guys out for the Lakers. Have to take a look there. Value. Chandler Parsons, Omri Caspi. That's probably it.
Yeah, same with you. At the top, obviously, really like Giannis and LeBron. Leonard, Butler, if you didn't play him at shooting guard, you can play him here. Same with DeRozan. Kyle Kuzma at 5,500 is a really nice price tag. Hard to imagine him not getting mid-30s in minutes. He'll play some center as well. Nick Batum's price tag is cheap, but I would take Kyle Kuzma over him. Rudy Gay is in a nice spot as well. You can play Wes Matthews here. He's a little more expensive on DK than I would like.
Yeah.
Jabari Parker is fine as well. Don't love him, but the price tag offers some upside. Chandler Parsons and Caspi, like you said, if you need a dirt cheap guy.
Yep. Power forward on FanDuel, LaMarcus Aldridge, 8,800, even though he's the most expensive guy there. This is as good of a matchup as he's going to find all year. Jaren Jackson, 6,800 on FanDuel. It's a little bit more scary. He's a crazy value on DraftKings, but with Jermichael Green out, Jaren Jackson should see 30-plus minutes. I got to like Bobby Portis. Lots to like here at power forward. Kuzma. And then it sort of thins out a bit. Wendell Carter at 5,000. I don't like the classifying him as a power forward on FanDuel, but whatever. Ryan Anderson, if you're looking for a punt on FanDuel, 3,600. Zach Collins, I think, is a feasible play. That's sort of where I'm at for power forward.
Yeah. Draymond, Aldridge, Portis, Jaren Jackson, Rhino value play, Markieff Morris. Just don't pair him with Nurkic. Zach Collins, too. Same thing. Don't pair him with Nurkic. You can pair him with Keith.
Finally, at center, I'm staying away from the top end here. So give me some Nurkic. Give me some DeAndre Ayton. Although I'm a little nervous about him there. Yanis, if we find out that he is starting. Oh, boy. Wow, center is really not great on FanDuel today.
Yeah, it's a spot where on DraftKings, I actually am going to probably want to use some of the power forwards like Portis and Aldridge and Green.
There's not a lot to like for me at center tonight.
Yeah, I'll add Enes Kanter. I like quite a bit. You can go to on DraftKings. Brooke Lopez is too cheap. Wendell Carter's too cheap for their tournament upside. Valanciunas as well if he gets the start, which I expect him to. So because of the lack of like great centers, the opportunity cost isn't quite as high as normal, which means that taking a chance on guys like Lopez and Carter is a little bit more palatable.
There you go. Hour 30. Now we'll do it. 90 minutes. Feels good. It's a good start to the day.
Yeah, for sure.
Lays the groundwork. Tune in later today, 2:30 from A to B. Andrew and Ben talking about the NFL and PGA results from the weekend. We'll have Jake doing some hockey coverage if that's your bag. You can still use the promo code NBA Strategy. Free 7-day trial at awesemo.com if you're interested on any package that does not include Fantasy Cruncher. NBA Strategy is the code. Tonight, maybe 2 shows, but probably just one. Live before lock starting at 6:30. Note that 6:30, tip off at 7:30 tonight. So we get an extra half hour, sort of. I mean, it's all the same time anyway. But 6:30 to 7:30, myself, Fast Eddie Fear, breaking down the entire slate as we take it all the way up to 7:30. Adam, anything else?
Deep Dive will be out at some point, written by somebody.
There you go. Deep Dive will be out at some point, written by someone. There you go. We are out of here. Gregory Stevens, this shit usually starts up at 9 to 9:15 a.m. if you're curious. The only reason I said it like that was because you said it like that. We're out of here. Later.